they may not be. So I think involvement depending on your situation is critical, and the situations vary, and I wouldn't say there is a one brush kind of an approach that is possible for women as a segment. Each woman has to figure out what her situation is and plan for it.
I think it is very necessary to touch the ground reality, and very basic language would be important. I think all of you all would be possibly listing down how much of money you're going to allot to groceries every month, how much of money are you going to require for that gas cylinder that comes in maybe about 2 months, 3 months down the line, how much of your money goes to the istri wala, and so on and so forth. So allocation is what is very important, and after allocating that money that you require, I guess it is very important to understand what you want to save out of that, and whatever you save out of that, what is the time period you're going to give if you're going to go and invest that money going forward. So I think it is very necessary to firstly, after financially making secure your grocery needs and basic needs going forward, you will have possibly some surplus, and that surplus, for how long you're going to possibly go and invest, where you're going to put your money, and how long you're not going to require or not require that money. I think that is very important before going any further from there on. So the way you plan your basic necessities or grocery need at the household needs, I think post that you definitely will be having some amount of money left. So you'll be possibly wondering whether I should go and buy a small piece of jewelry, or whether I should go and buy a small piece of a decorative piece to maybe looking good on your wall unit. So going forward from here on, I think it is going to be very, very necessary for you all to understand as to, after taking out your expenses, what is it that is left in your hand, and how are you going to plow that going forward, and what is the time frame that you are going to give it to it.
I think it's very condescending to say that men say that the women are, the finance ministers of their households. Simply because, and why I say that is simply because balancing your household budget, I think, is not, I mean, it may be part of money management, but I think it's not the end of this entire process, because at the end of the entire process is to gain financial independence. So I think a lot of the people who say that the women are the finance ministers of the household are only talking about, the expenditure side of the whole program. The second thing is, I strongly disagree with this word surplus, because in my opinion, the best way to actually create a good investment portfolio is not to look at your surplus, but to put away money before you spend it. What I call pay as you go. So if at all you have access either through a salary or through your business to say 10,000 rupees, I think the most important thing to create a successful investment portfolio is to actually put away, say, 3,000 rupees out of that 10,000 rupees, invest it first, and then try and see how you can manage your expenses to meet the rest of it. Because the moment you say that, I mean, how much surplus do I have to invest or save at the end of the month, you invariably find that you have nothing left at the end of the month. Because, all your expenses sort of expand to occupy whatever you earn.
I think that is a very, very valid point. Getting into discipline of creating savings is the first step towards your journey of investment. I think that was very well made out.
We had a very, very good scheme in UTI when Shashi and I were together called the Children's Gift Growth Fund, where the target was to make your child a lakpati. So the way it was designed was you could actually give a gift to a newborn child of a certificate. Right? So there are instruments like that available, by which even a child can start investing. At that age, obviously, they have a huge appetite for equity because they don't either earn or really have too much control over their spending. The third thing is, there are other asset classes other than gold, real estate and equity. There is a class called fixed income, which is debt instruments. It's a lot better than fixed deposit because the Indian regulator has, the government has actually given you a lot of flexibility in terms of your taxation. The rules are very simple. You have to take a little bit of vitamin B, you have to take a little bit of vitamin A, you must have a bunch of fruits in the morning, you must have milk at 11 o'clock or whatever those rules are. Similar rules in finance, and they're easily available. You can Google it up. After you Google it up, there's a second stage. Because you'll never be comfortable doing it alone. Which is why people like Anjali Mukherjee make a lot of money. So the reality is that you like to sit with somebody who has a little more knowledge and a little more time than you. and you arrive at something that is appropriate for yourself. So the first thing is, there are many asset classes, you need to know what they are, just as you know your food groups. 2, you need to identify an expert you're comfortable with. One of the yardsticks I usually say is find somebody in your own age and income profile, because they'll empathize with you. 3, remember that he doesn't have all the answers. Are there any doctors in this room? I had a wonderful diagnosis the other day. My mother-in-law suddenly went deaf, and they went and checked up everything and said it's on account of idiopathy. I'm usually curious, and I have absolutely no problem admitting that I'm dumb. So I asked, what exactly does this word idiopathy mean? Where does it go wrong? They said idiopathy really means I don't know. So, roughly, remember that your financial expert knows a little more about generalities than you do, but he doesn't know you as well as you do. So there has to be a dialogue. You can't shut your eyes and say, I'll take whatever is given to me. So these 3 rules, and I think you're set.
Again, in this complex, so-called, supposedly complex-looking financial world, you come across a lot of products that people talk about, and obviously it's confusing, and you can't possibly know what's really available out there. So I think the first step really is to, as was mentioned, find somebody who's a qualified financial advisor. It's very, very simple. About 10 years ago, there weren't even such people around. Now there are a lot more. In fact, a lot of them happen to be women, by the way, working with banks. So wherever you have your bank account, for instance, you can just go there, check whether they have any financial advice or advisors or products that they can offer, and start talking. I think that's the first start. You've got to profile yourself. Typically, they will do it for you, which means that they will identify your age, your income level, your savings potential, and then try and work out asset allocations. So there are different assets, there are different places that you can put your money into. You can buy real estate, you can buy something which gives you a fixed rate of return, you can buy equities, you can buy gold, you can buy anything. But they will try and profile you, and that's where you have to start getting involved in terms of your options in these asset classes, your risk-taking capability, your return expectations, etc., etc. But again, it's very, very simple when you sit down with somebody who can explain to you and then tell you the various products available. And then when you're actually making that investment decision, you can probably seek counsel of a few more people around you so that you have some idea of where you're putting your money into. So that really is the first step. I think start trying to talk to people whose job it is to do so. Till about, I would say, 15 years ago, there were very, very limited options to invest in. You just had your very standard LIC, UTI products. Now you've got a whole vast array of products available. But thankfully, along the way, bankers have become very active. You have a lot of financial advisors available. They're available for people with all income levels pretty much. And you must go out there and try and actually use them. So do that. One of the first steps is go to your bank and figure out if there's a financial advisor there.
As I can see from the crowd here, you're all also very educated kind of people. Today, lot of information is available on the net. For profiling of yours, if you're very uncomfortable going and disclosing with somebody whom you do not know, if you do a little bit search on the internet, there are several tools that are available which will specify what are your assets and different forms of assets that will tell you where you fall into. We've all started now that we've decided to start our investment. The next logical question that comes to our mind is, okay, I have so and so pool of money, where should I start looking at investment?